welcome to Showbiz Chicago, the podcast. I am so excited to be with most of the cast from one of the best productions to come out of Victory Gardens, I think, ever. And it's called The Whale. And it's really not what it sounds like it is. It is stunning. So, and I don't want to give too much away for the plot because you really have to see it to experience it. But anything you think a play is about, it is in this play. It's about redemption. It's about addiction. It's about religion. It's about reconciliation. And I think one of the greatest performances in the last 10 years on the stage is given by you, Dale, as Charlie.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And Bruce Valance says hello again.
Okay.
Hi, Bruce. So
hi, Bruce.
Why don't we go around and introduce yourselves? And then I really want to get into, this is such an actor's play, I want to get into how you all got into your characters and the truth of each of your characters. So why don't we start with you, Dale?
I'm Dale Calandra, and
Dale Calandra.
I am playing Charlie, the 600-pound man. Yeah, that's...
You know, and when they come to you again, it's like, okay, we have another fat suit for you. Because for those of you that don't know, he was Edna on the tour of Hairspray.
That's right.
So it's like, you know, he said, would you guys stop?
This is my 5th fat suit, okay? And my thing when I got this one, I said, what's wrong with me as an actor? I'm never fat enough.
Right? Well, that's
so they gave me an option, gain 300 pounds or wear the suit. So I started eating over the holidays and decided, no, that wasn't the way to go.
Right. Well, that's a good choice. Leah.
I'm Leah Karpel, and I play Charlie's daughter, Ellie.
Misunderstood Ellie.
Yes, very misunderstood.
And not Miss Ellie from Dallas.
No.
That would be Barbara
Bell
Geddes. Oh. Boy, there's a reference, right?
I don't even know the reference, but that's okay.
You've never watched Dallas?
You know, I wasn't a Dallas girl.
Dynasty?
No.
Oh, sure.
I know. I should leave.
Don't you love my podcast? Totally nothing to do with the show.
And
I'm schooling you on Dallas.
Everyone loved it, but I didn't.
Oh, we're going to talk after this.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And she's retiring after the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Put that out there. My agents will love
it. She's not. So, and you play, of course, Liz.
I play Liz. I play Charlie's best friend.
The enabler.
Well, it's how you look at things. I think I'm really taking care of him. We all in our. I think everyone. I think this role. I think has really helped me sort of see how you always have best intentions, and sometimes the best intentions are not necessarily helpful.
Right, and sometimes those best intentions come from places that you haven't dealt with yourself yet.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm not one of those people, but there are many people on this planet like that, and I'm always shocked. So.
Wow. And the way you just looked at me. Like you're out of it.
But it's been illuminating to play this kind of role.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So let me try to capsulize the show. Or capsize the show. Ha! Get it, the whale.
Very
but anyway.
good.
It's about an obese man who loses his partner, and he's trying to figure out why, and before he passes away, mostly from his own volition, he wants to reconcile with his daughter from a prior marriage, and his daughter's also misunderstood, and he hasn't spoken to his daughter in 15 years. Amazing, I'm doing this off with any notes, right? And Liz, you play his partner's sister, who's also the caregiver.
Right.
Add to that Will Allen. Hi, Will.
Hi.
Hi. Who plays quote-unquote Mormon missionary, right? Because he got rejected from the Book of Mormon, too, I heard, Will Allen. He was like, hello! And they're like, get the hell out of here, Will Allen. Go to a different show, right? And then...
You just lost Will Allen because he just left.
Always. He went to the bar.
He did, but he sits and drinks.
We know.
I would not encourage any of this.
I know, I agree.
All right?
I agree. I'm not...
I want to talk about the play.
Absolutely. Well, then let's talk about it. So when you got the script, and the amazing Joni Schultz directed. So, and it's a director's vision, I guess it would be. And Sam Hunter is the playwright.
That's the gift, is that Sam and Joni had conversations coming into the rehearsals. And then Sam was with us 3 days into it. I mean, for 3 days, like the second week, and then he went away and came back for all the previews.
I didn't know that.
Had him here, and we were also able to communicate with him. He's so generous, and he loves crafting little details. Some of the best things that were coming out was right before we went into rehearsal, he wrote a major scene between Liz and I. Not a lot of it, but it completely changed our relationship.
Completely, yeah.
Well, tell me about that. In what way?
No, you do.
No,
please.
you do.
No, please.
Because for our listeners, this is the Chicago premiere. The play's been produced, I think, maybe twice before.
Playwrights Horizons.
3 times?
Three times. And actually, I think we are so blessed that it had 3 productions before us, and that he was still involved in our production, Sam, because he learned different things from those productions and was able to come to us, with a fresh, clean mind and look at what we were doing, but also with knowledge that he was able to provide about kind of what works in the play.
And I'm sure he didn't have a cast like this.
Well,
he did. So tell us about the scenes, because that's exciting.
Well, there was this one very strange scene. It was one of my big questions where Liz, her character, would put makeup on me. And it was like really strange. And I never quite understood it. And the next thing we had to rewrite, and it was completely gone. And take over from there.
Well, because when I was reading the script, it really did change the relationship. I had thought, I felt like I felt like I was using Charlie as the character of Liz, and it made me, actually, I thought, I gotta tell you, when I first got cast, I thought, oh, this role, she's kind of despicable, I thought. And how am I gonna find humanity in this person who I feel is a bit hateful? And when that was, he tweaked just a few things in our relationship, I mean, small things, and then cut that out. And I was like, oh, she's so not what I thought she was. So I had to readjust my perspective on her, and also how I came to it. And actually, I think it made it easier to play, because it's out of love. I mean, and I think everyone's doing something out of love in this play.
Did you tell him you wanted to hear about the church?
He's just a kid, Liz. He helped me out.
What?
I'm fine.
No, you're not.
I think...
What?
I need to call Ellie.
Ellie?
Yeah.
What? So you're like giving up?
What else am I supposed to do?
Go to the hospital!
Okay, I could go to the hospital. Get a bypass operation or whatever. Rack up several $100,000 worth of hospital bills that I won't be able to pay back ever. And then I'll come back home, maybe, and last what? A year at the most? Also, I could spend another year in what I'm sure is no small amount of pain.
Nice, positive thinking, Charlie. This affects me too, you know? You're my friend.
I know. I'm sorry.
If you say you're sorry again, I'm gonna shove a knife right into you.
Ahead.
I swear to...
What's it gonna do? My internal organs are 2 feet in at least.
Everybody has their own agenda in this play. And for the audience to relate to that selfishness, because, face it, I mean, Charlie's killing himself. You know,
I think
Ellie's
it's a lot about denial.
Yeah, and you're like enabling his death. So to like have an audience come along that ride, there's got to be something ingrained in the writing that, you know, not only from the actors, but that the audience gets, oh, that's part of me in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what's really tricky about his writing is that all the characters are so flawed, and I think it would be really easy and simple to just play the flaws, and then no one would care. But really in the play, you see that everything they're doing is out of curiosity about how do other people live and be happy. I want to know, how do I get out of my misery, and also out of a desire to connection. So the positivity has to be there, or else no one is going to care about these people. And that was something that I think we really got from day one and was really helpful in rehearsals.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I said in my review that I think Ellie, other than Charlie, is the most difficult character to play from an acting standpoint, because the balance that you have to strike I think as an actor, and how to approach it is like, because it's so well written too.
Yeah, well, Sam had said that actually. He was like, it's the hardest part of the play, besides Charlie, because people hate her and people want to hate her. He's written a really hard person to like, but there's reason that she's so angry, and she's a child, so she can't really be responsible for all of her hate. There's a reason. And then when I was working on it, what I realized was that everything she says is not to hurt, and it's not out of hate or out of anger. It really is out of honesty and love and a desire to have real relationship with her father that isn't about, let's pretend we're dad and daughter and we've always been in love, because we haven't. Let's be honest. You're really fat. I haven't seen you for 15 years, and that's who we are.
And to tag on that, when somebody's in the last throes of their lives and they know it, and they have X number of days, months, hours to figure it out, the one thing that always stands in the way, I think, of people is that they want to not be honest. They want to get around that honesty. He doesn't have time. So and through Ellie, he learns very quickly that she's not doing this to be horrible. She's not stabbing me with a knife. She is being honest. And then I'm able to take that and translate that to my classes, my online classes. And I'm able to translate that to everybody I'm meeting to try to cut through my own bullshit.
So take me through the rehearsal process and how your characters changed and evolved when you got the script until what we see now. And I'm sure your characters are even evolving, with audiences and audiences' reactions. But for you, Dale, because you're very still. I mean, your part is written where you're almost confined.
Yes, I'm in the costume, and I'm sort of stuck on a chair, on a couch for most of the time. And my initial approach was to be just trying to connect honestly to what was going on. And by the time we were translating ourselves somewhat in rehearsals up in the rehearsal room to the stage, Joni was going, you're not filling the house. I was acting for the camera, it was like so intimate.
Absolutely.
I was pulling all my actors in, and I wasn't giving to the audience. So
especially when you can't move, I think that's
she was fabulous
reaction.
in giving me detail, like try this or try that, and what about that. And once I was enabled to start fully wearing the fat suit all the time and not just the rehearsal clothes, that changed everything, because then I could figure out how to be active in this very inactive world.
So what was the easiest part for you to connect with Charlie personally, and what was the hardest part?
I think the easiest part was... I'm coming back. You come back to me. I'm going to think.
All right.
Okay?
Easiest and hardest?
Yes.
Oh man, it's a personal question.
They are. They are. That's why I'm the Charlie Rose of podcasting.
I appreciate Ellie's need for honesty. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty honest person in my life. I try to not have a whole lot of bullshit, so I was able. I appreciated that, and I got that. The hardest thing is that she's so completely alone. And I'm so blessed. I have, the most supportive family in the world, and we're all very close. And so that takes me a little while every show to get into that.
So how do you break through that?
Just imagination. I have to just really spend some time before each show really getting into what that world is and what that means when your mom is an alcoholic and takes drugs all the time and you haven't seen your dad.
Right. Yeah.
I would say for Liz, the easiest part is knowing how much you love a friend. I've loved, I've had certain loves for different friends, and just knowing what it's like to be so committed to them, and feeling responsible for them. I really can identify with that and connect to that. And I think the thing that's the most difficult thing is that she really believes she's the most capable person in the room and the smartest person in the room. I don't think I'm the smartest person in the room, so that was like, I think getting behind her assuredness at times, 100% all the time, because that was the thing that Joni would remind me once we got to a certain stage of the rehearsal process, was like, remember, she's insecure underneath it all, but she exerts a confidence.
Right.
And to do that for so long was tricky for me. But once I found that, it was.
And that last scene you have with Dale is brilliant. When you know that's the last you're going to see him, because I can just, for me as an audience member, it's like, oh my God, my brother. Now, what am I going to do? Because I think you see your brother through him all the time as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
but Liz has no one.
Right.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
What I mean.
I mean, she has no family
Right.
either. She's got no one. So this is the only that I don't identify with. That this is the only person. But you know, I think friends can become sort of like
Absolutely.
feel like the only person, and it's hard.
And sometimes that's better too, just to have those friends. Gang, back over to you.
Back to me.
Back to you sometime.
I think the easiest part for me doing Charlie was my initial connections at the auditions and everything. That I realized that there are so many parts of Charlie that are parts of me in different aspects of my life. And the fear of that got me over the audition hump. Because I said to myself, I'm either going to go to this audition or not. I'm either going to win this role or not. Make a decision, Dale. And I did, and I walked into that audition going, I want this role, because this is my role. And I have had death experiences for myself, a near-death experience 10 years ago. So I know what it's like physically to struggle back from something. That's where the raspiness kind of in my voice comes, because I was intubated and everything. Wow. And so I understand that large struggle to survive, you know, and that to be able to come back. I also have experience with people around me who have had abandonment issues, and a lot of the things that Charlie goes through, I've had close contact with. My sister's ex-husband, who recently passed away last fall, was almost 500 pounds. Wow. So I was able to study that and knew that intimately. And my sister was generous enough to reveal things that I didn't even know. Because watching videos is one thing.
That's got to be powerful.
It was very powerful for me. And the one thing I think that I innately have, that Sam pointed out, our playwright, was that I have Charlie's generosity of spirit. You know?
That's evident.
And he said, not to take anything away from the other Charlies, but they were very strong, powerful actors and approached it from a muscle position, and they didn't have the heart. Whereas I had the heart, and I had to learn not to be wimpy in the heart.
That's right. That's
you know,
true.
I had to be strong and mature and a full person, and everything that you might think that is not a obese man, which or people sometimes stereotype it. They're lazy. They're stupid. They're
Very true.
They're all these things. Charlie is just the opposite. He's intelligent. He's smart. He's made major mistakes in his life, you know, one of which was marrying Mary, even though he knew he was gay. And he did something about it, but at the cost of something extraordinary, which was the loss of his daughter, too. But he's there for her without anyone knowing it. That's where all that money comes from.
Isn't it amazing, though, Dale, the people of our generation, gay, that went through that exact thing, though, that do have children like that? You know, now is such a different time where it's just...
Totally different.
You know, and it's very relatable, like Charlie's, you know, marriage and everything.
Right. and also this understanding of Alan, Liz's brother, who was my partner, or Charlie's partner, and you know, the notion that of his struggle with his own family and religion, a very religious family that he struggled with to the point where it destroyed him, and how not only religion but any addiction. Anything like
addiction
marrying
is so
this
important
is
to this
play about people who are addicted.
Yes,
you know,
addicted to anything.
Right.
It's just in general.
Everyone in this play has, the Mormon. Totally.
Yes.
I mean, it's interesting, and even I see, like, in Ellie, there's moments when she asks for food, and they're always in the most vulnerable places for her. Like, the most emotional places, all of a sudden, she wants a donut, or she's hungry.
Right.
And everyone struggles with that in this play.
Tell me about the audience reaction when you finally got this thing up on stage. And then you had an audience. And
absolutely.
And you're doing talkbacks and stuff, I know, after the show. I don't know if the actors are doing it, but I mean...
I try to go out and say hi. You know, everybody kind of takes turns.
So tell me about some of the stories that you've heard and some of the connections that you as actors have made with the audience. Because that, I think, is what this play can do that very few others...
In effect, there are so many issues in the play. What's extraordinary about the play is that everyone is affected differently. And somebody will capitalize on, I have a sister who is 500 pounds. Another one will say, I came from an alcoholic family. And another one will say something else that's in the play. And they're so profoundly moved by it because they can relate to it. And that was the extraordinary thing from my point of view. We can, or I can feel, because I'm up there most of the time, they're sitting at the edge of their chair for an hour and 15 minutes, and we, 50, I'm sorry, we hardly hear them do anything. In fact, they wait to cough sometimes for scene changes. They don't know what to do, and what have you experienced?
Something I heard from a person was they said that they said every character they had a hard time with when they first met them. They're like they judged them.
Yes.
They were angry at them.
That's what I was saying.
And then went through a journey of going, oh my gosh. And I had a doctor friend who saw it, and he said, you know, he said he loved the script so much, and he said, I know people like Charlie. He said, I work with people, and he said, there's always a story. And he said, and it's just, you know, and it's just, I love that it exposes the story so that we can be more compassionate towards one another, and I mean, which I think is hard. I think it's sometimes tough sometimes in this world.
Well, our prejudices.
Right? And I think we're scared. We're scared. You know, it's you know, you think you're going to lose something. I think it's I'm not going to go into that, but that's, but I think
go into it.
I think I mean my whole thought on compassion is, and if you're not compassionate, is because you're scared to. You got to look at yourself, and you got to deal with the pain inside yourself. And I think that this pushes buttons in people and causes people to feel pain. I mean, when you look around during, you know, curtain call, and you see, and see people weeping or sobbing in a way I've never seen in any show I've ever done before. It's it's extraordinary. So you know that this, and we're telling it's a story, and I mean, it's a powerful story, and I think Sam D. Hunter has done an incredible job at really unearthing something pretty, very profound.
Right, the audience is, to see an audience come along with the cast, with the whole cast.
And every single character.
Absolutely.
Every single character.
Yep.
Which I don't think that's a common experience.
It's not.
So it's extraordinary.
What about you?
Stay on the corner. Well, I've been blown away with people's stories after the show, and how touched people are by the show, and then on the other coin, during the show, I get the opportunity to hear people's audible responses to my character, which are often very unpleasant.
Oh, hi. I was looking for Charlie.
He's in the bathroom.
Oh, okay. I can't come back.
No, it's fine. Come in.
Are you his friend?
I'm his daughter.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
You surprised?
Yes.
So what's more surprising? That a gay guy has a daughter, or that somebody found his penis?
I really should.
Don't be such a pussy. Name tag makes you look like a retard.
We have to wear them.
I don't care. What are you doing here again? Who are you?
Oh, Charlie said he wanted to hear about the church. I'm with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I came by the other day. He wasn't feeling well. I thought I'd try him again. I brought some reading materials.
I'm bored.
Oh?
I'll tell you one thing I like about religion. What I like about religion is that it assumes that everybody is an idiot and that they're incapable of saving themselves. I think they got something right with that.
That's not
I'm
really
not
right.
finished talking. I'm saying I appreciate how religion makes people realize that. I appreciate that. But what I don't like about religion is that once people accept Jesus or whatever, they think they've become more enlightened than everyone else. Like, by accepting the fact that they're stupid sinners, they become better than everyone else, and then they turn into assholes.
I don't really know what to say. I have some pamphlets.
Hold still.
What? Why did you just do that?
Are you coming back tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
Come back tomorrow. I'll be here around the same time.
I'm sorry, what's happening?
I've been called some very mean names, and I'm like, okay.
Isn't that fun as an actor, though? To, like, take that in and then you know you're going to twist them at the end? Well, at least hopefully.
Well, it is. I mean, it's fun. It's a challenge because I'm like, I hope I twist them at the end. I hope they get twisted.
But you know what? If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, if you don't, you don't. But also, it's great because when I do, there was one night in particular when Dale was laughing while he was supposed to be asleep. Like afterwards, he was like, I heard this woman kept calling you a bitch over and over. And I was like, I know. But what was kind of great about it was that
just under enough, she'd go, bitch.
over and over.
It was like weird. It was like so weird.
She really.
Or she'll do a line and they'll go, oh.
Yeah. Oh, she's awful. It happens. I mean, it's great.
Comes out of
there's that first 3 scenes in the play where people are laughing and there's a funny Mormon, and then all of a sudden I come in and you can just hear nothing. I mean, people are just astonished. But what I love about it is that I have the response of, wait a minute, like the things you're hearing are mean things, but if you really listen to them, they're also honest things. Like I remember she was like, you're a bitch, when I said just being around you was disgusting, and then I was like, well, hold on, everything else I'm about to say is true. But you smell disgusting.
But the great part of it also, if we think about it, it's the audience is giving you their truth in the moment. And then as the play goes on, they switch, and they don't even know when they're switching, because all of a sudden these stereotypic characters have become full-blown people, and everyone's able to look past the stereotype. Right. You know, their first, like we were talking about before, that first impression you have on someone. And that's what's so amazing about playing the play every performance. I mean, I am just blessed to have my 4 fellow actors up there with me, because I go out there and I can't think. I go on and I go for the ride, and they're there.
That's a blessing.
It's so a blessing, and I look in their eyes and I'm like, you know, we're just there, and it's getting, it's a weird thing to say. For me, it's getting more and more fun to do. Even though the challenge is huge.
We're going to have to do a blooper reel.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right? Let's do a big blooper show.
What did I say?
No, with the whale.
Oh, the
whale. We'll do like a Tim Conway version of the whale one night.
We have Charlie the musical.
We do
a lot of. He's wonderful and very light on his feet. Let me just plug.
Absolutely.
Tap dances like Fred Astaire.
I've tortured my poor cast because there'll be a moment and then I'll just say hi, and then I switch off, and then I go away, and I'm like, I have to isolate myself.
That tortures us horribly.
And you know, we can hear the girls through their dressing room. And Will Allen, who
He's
left
still
us,
at the bar.
Yes, who's still at the bar. He goes, they're having way too much fun in there. And I turn to Will and I go, Will, I'm sorry that you're in the dressing room with me. I just have to start being depressed and lonely and want to go and...
That's okay. He comes and hangs out with us.
I know, he does.
He does, yeah.
Well,
And
he needs friends.
Pat Kane, who was my wife.
Pat Kane, my little
Pat
about
Kane.
face.
Yes,
one of my favorite
fabulous,
actresses.
my fabulous ex-wife. She comes in at the 11th hour of the play after she's got a tough role. She waits the whole play and then she comes in and she has like this insanely great written scene between.
Well, she's like the Fontaine of the Whale.
Yeah,
Into one scene again. She gets to sit around, around. Oh, big part.
Well,
Have a glass of vodka. I'm out.
That's what she does afterwards. We hear the margarita blender going.
She was trained at About Face Theater, so we all do that. Absolutely. So in closing, what has the show taught you as a person, that you take forth in your everyday life that you learn from the show?
Wow.
I've been given a gift in my life to be here still on this planet. And the gift I get with this show is that I get to do the show. And I get to give this gift. And it's such a interesting challenge for me as an actor to do, but I know I'm given the gift every night. So there's a little Charlie in everybody, and if they can just open their eyes a little bit, they will have an experience, a life-changing experience, possibly.
Wow.
Yeah, I've learned so much. I think I'm still learning with this show.
Sure.
I think it's been such a beautiful gift and journey, and I feel so grateful to work on a play that I love so much and I believe in so fully with such a great ensemble of actors. But I guess it's really taught me right now just how important family is and how lucky I am to have the family I have and not to take that for granted.
Absolutely. I know I called my dad right after the show. My dad just turned 90. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Dad, he goes, I'm sleeping. I'm like, oh, shut up.
Okay, love you.
Bye. What are you, Cheryl?
I mean, and I feel the same way Leah does. I'm still in the midst of sort of figuring out a lot of things. I mean, figuring out things personally. I mean, I'm sort of enmeshed in it because it feels like we just opened a week ago.
Right.
But I would say, I guess appreciation. Appreciate what you have because it does go away. Things do go away, and I think that connects to both of the things you said. Like it's a gift to be in such a wonderful show working with such talented people and on such a wonderful script, and to have it have such an effect on people. So there's just being appreciative of that, but as well as other things in life, So.
And what more can you ask from theater, right? That living, breathing
absolutely.
thing called theater. Well, thank you so much. Everybody come see The Whale. I mean, there's nothing like it in Chicago right now. There's nothing like it.
We love you.
Well, I love you more.
No, for doing this.
No, it's my pleasure.
No,
I saw it and I'm like, I got to talk to the cast. I've got to find out how this thing was birthed. Because very few times do you get to see how a cast, because the cast gels. You could just feel it. You could just feel it. I mean, it's palpable for the audience. And for me, that has to see everything. When I see something like that, it's like, wow. That's why I love theater. And that's why I love all of you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.